Namaste. Continuing our bliss of learning, sharing and immersing ourselves in Sri Krishna's names, the meanings as it comes in Bhagavad Geetha, we are in episode number 51. We had the bliss and the blessings of Sri Krishna himself to complete 50 episodes so far, and by his divine grace we will continue to enjoy his names further. In today's episode we are going to see a very important name. I keep saying this, every name is important, but there are certain names which is more than equal. Every name is Krishna's name, so obviously it has to be important. But there are some names which will be much more deeper in terms of meaning and much more all-encompassing when we try to understand what exactly these names mean. Before we go to the name, let us look at 4 different people in Puranas and in contemporary life as in Idihasas. First will be Kunti Devi. Next will be Sugriva, then Dhruva, and then Swami Nammalvar. What is common between all of them? Now, Kunti Devi asked Krishna a very unique boon. She says, Krishna, keep me amidst lot of troubles. I don't want a very peaceful life. You know why? And Krishna was aghast. He says, everybody asks me for a peaceful life, everybody asks for right things. You are asking for troubles. What does it mean? Kunti Devi says, when everything is normal, everything is happy, we are all ordinary mortals and we forget you. But when there is something going wrong, something is troubling us, immediately we say, oh Krishna, save us. So at least for remembering you all the time, I want to be amidst trouble so that I keep remembering you. So that's what Kunti Devi asks for. Then we have Sugriva, who out of the fear of his own brother Vali, rushes to Sri Rama's help out of fear and says, please save me. Then we had Dhruva. Dhruva was a little son of a king whose only wish as a little baby was to sit in the king's lap. But his stepmother did not allow it. So he went on a penance to pray to Krishna or Human Narayana and says, all I want is to sit in the lap of my dad. And Narada Muni helps Dhruva with a very specific mantra so that he says, recite this mantra, Lord will give you whatever you want. And then we have in current day, when I say current day, in Kali Yuga, Swami Nammalvar, who only looked at Sri Krishna in everything. In Vaishnavite lineage, there are 12 Alvars whom we all worship in the lineage and whose works we recite to enjoy Sri Krishna. Out of which Swami Nammalvar is treated as the Kulapati of the entire Vaishnavite lineage, and his love for Krishna is just that love which is a benchmark for anybody. So Swami Nammalvar himself is referred as Krishna Trishna Tattvam. If you want to draw the Krishna Bhakti, it will be the picture of Swami Nammalvar. That's what elders say. And that much deep love. Now why are we seeing these 4 different people in this? Let's go to the sloka now.
Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudevah sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha.
So this sloka is in the 7th chapter. Now we are going to start from this episode. We have seen so far first 6 chapters, the names that appeared in those 6 chapters, and that is basically the Karma Yogam in short. And now we are moving to Jnana Yogam from the 7th chapter. And in this 7th chapter, this name Vasudevah, that is the name we are going to enjoy. The name Vasudevah appears 4 times in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Twice by Sri Krishna himself, twice recited by Sanjaya. Now we are going to see in this episode, twice Sri Krishna mentions Vasudeva. So, sloka number 7th chapter and 19th sloka, and 10th chapter and 37th sloka, in which Sri Krishna says Vasudeva twice. In the 7th chapter, which is also referred as a Jnana Vijnana Yogam, where there is so much emphasis of Jnana, the knowledge, acquiring of knowledge and how knowledge is important, is what this 7th chapter is all about. And in this, the sloka as it says, Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapatyate Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. This is what Sri Krishna says. In this he says there are people who take many births. It is known for us. A true Sanatana Dharma follower or a Hindu follower, the first thing we have to realize is body and soul are different. Soul keeps taking the cycle of birth, death and rebirth, and body is just the carrier of the soul. And the body we get is based on the karma. It's as simple. If you are able to understand this, and whoever believes in this is a true Hindu. The first thing. So in Sanatana Dharma, we all take, and I say the Jivatma takes innumerous birth to reach certain stage. So Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanamante. One who takes many births, finally Jnanavan Mam Prapatyate, attains a jnana that Vasudevam is Sarvam. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. That's what Krishna says. So that true knowledge that Sri Krishna is everything, that we have to surrender to Sri Krishna, that jnana is very important, and to get that jnanavan. So now Krishna says, he is such a jnanavan, he or she, Jivatma is, you can say he, she, both are same, is such a jnanavan who has understood and realized Vasudevam Sarvamiti. I am, as Krishna, as Vasudeva is Sarvam, and who has to surrender to them. But he also says, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabaha. Durlabaha means rare. Sudurlabaha is rarest of rare. Who is saying this? Sri Krishna is saying this. One who believes, a Jivatma, who believes that everything is Vasudeva and surrenders to Vasudevan is such a rare gem. And that is where I mentioned about Swami Nammalvar, who looked at everything as Sri Krishna. There is all these Alvars have given together 4,000 hymns in Tamil called Nalayira Divya Prabandham, or 4,000 divine hymns, of which one of the pasurams that Swami Nammalvar says, Undum Soru, Parugum Neer, Thinnum Vetrai, Ellam Kannan. The food, the water and the desert, everything is Sri Krishna for me, is what he is saying. So that is the love for Krishna. As I said, if you draw Krishna Bhakti, that will be Swami Nammalvar. If you want to give an image to Krishna Bhakti, that is Swami Nammalvar. And that he epitomizes in this pasuram saying, whatever I eat, whatever I drink, whatever I use as a dessert, everything is Sri Krishna. And that much of love and that much of seeing Krishna in everything is very important. And that kind of Jivatma, Sri Krishna says Mahatma. Imagine Paramatma giving a title to ordinary Jivatma as Mahatma, because we are all Atmas. And Krishna says, such a Jnanavan who thinks Vasudeva is everything and surrenders to me is Mahatma. That much of importance Sri Krishna gives to the term Vasudeva. He didn't say Keshava, he didn't say Damodara. We saw many names in the last 50 episodes. He uses the word Vasudeva. And this is from Lord Krishna's mouth itself. So Sri Krishna, what is Vasudeva? There are two terms here, Vasu and Deva. Vasu means one who is in everything, in everybody, and one who envelops everybody together. Vasu. Now this is a huge act. We are talking of the entire universe, Prapancham. In Sarvaloka Maheshwara, we spoke about what we can perceive, what we cannot perceive, a universe of that size. And Sri Krishna is in everything in this, and he envelops them to protect them. That is Vasu. Is it not a tough job to do? Is it easy? The Deva term says, doing such an important act, such a great act as child's play, because that is, he does it as a play. And that is what he means by Vasudeva. And that is the importance of this term, that we look at everything, we look Vasudeva. I look at you, I look at Vasudeva. I look at this table, it is Vasudeva. I look at everybody, it's Vasudeva, because he is in everything and he is protecting everybody. So Vasudevam Sarvamiti Mahatma Sudurlabaha. All of us should worship Sri Krishna to become Mahatma. It's very simple to become Mahatma. All we have to do is to look at Krishna in everything and surrender to Sri Krishna. And who says such an Atma is Mahatma? Sri Krishna himself. What more we need? All we need is to look at Sri Krishna in everything and surrender to Sri Krishna at all time as Vasudeva.
Vrishninam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjayaha Muninam Apyaham Vyasaha Kavina Mushana Kavihi.
This sloka comes in the 10th chapter. We just saw Vasudeva from 7th chapter. Again Sri Krishna mentioned Vasudeva. In 10th chapter, 37th sloka also, Sri Krishna mentions himself as Vasudeva. And this is the sloka where he says, Vrishninam Vasudevosmi. So we saw the name Varshneya because Krishna was born in the lineage of Vrishnikula. And he says here, I was born in the Vrishnikula as Vasudeva. Now, here the Vasudevan is very different because Vasudeva Devaki. Krishna incarnates as a son to Vasudeva and Devaki. So Vasudeva's son Vasudevan. It is in this context is what Sri Krishna says here. Now, moment we say that he is born just now, and that's why he gets this name as Vasudevan, then we question the 7th chapter where we say he is in everything, he engulfs everybody. How is it possible if somebody is born now who can engulf or be in everything? That Sri Krishna himself answers earlier in the 4th chapter itself when he tells Arjuna, Arjuna, you know what? You and I take birth, but there is a huge difference. You take your birth based on karma and you don't even remember what your previous birth was or what your next birth is going to be. But I take all my births on my Icha, on my Sankalpa, and I know every birth that I have taken and I know what kind of incarnations I am going to do later. So, one who understands this Avatara Rahasya, that I am Vasudeva, born as Vasudeva, Vasudeva's son as Vasudeva, then it is lot better rather than thinking that I am also like you. It is very important for people to know that I take all this incarnation based on my own Sankalpa. So, Sri Krishna established this very strongly. If you compare the 7th chapter sloka that we saw in Vasudeva and this 10th chapter sloka of Vasudeva, there is an interesting concept. Normally, the Sarvaloka Maheshwara that we saw a few episodes back and the Vasudeva meaning actually say, it is huge, the Paramatma's real stature, and the next chapter, 11th chapter is all about Vishwarupa where he is showing his true, that kind of scale, magnitude as small Jivatmas we can't handle. So, we always fear Paratva when he shows his Paratva. So, that is why he takes the incarnation as Krishna and as Rama and be around us, be along with us, hold our hands and walk around to show his Saulabhya. Saulabhya is to ensure that we are accessible. Saulabhya, the term is that I am accessible to you. That's what Krishna says. So, not to get overwhelmed by Paratva, he shows Saulabhya. But moment he eases himself and makes available, we treat him very casually. We take him for granted. To ensure that we don't take him for granted, he keeps showing Paratva. So, not to get overwhelmed by Paratva, Saulabhya, not to underestimate him because of Saulabhya, he shows Paratva. So, if you read 7th chapter and 10th chapter in this understanding, you will understand Vasudeva much better. And that is very important. And this Vasudeva name, as I said, in the 7th chapter he says Vasudeva Midi, that is what he says. Everything is Vasudeva is the term he is using. Vedavyasa, who gave us the Vedas in its current form, the Chatur Vedas, he also gave us the Sahasranama and he has given Bhashyam for Sahasranama and does various things. Towards the end of Vishnu Sahasranama when we recite, Vedavyasa said, Vasanat Vasudevasya Vasitam Bhuvanatrayam Sarva Bhuta Nivasosi Vasudeva Namostute. Bhuvanatrayam. For 3 words, Vasitam is controlled by Vasudeva. Sarva Bhuta Nivasosi Vasudeva Namostute. Such Vasudeva, I surrender, I pray and surrender. Here too, Vedavyasa uses the term Vasudeva and not any other Krishna's names. In this context, let us understand that the Supreme Lord is Vasudeva and the most accessible Lord is also Vasudeva. He is along with us as Sri Krishna and always to hold us to the right path and to protect us and give us moksha. So let us pray to Sri Krishna as Vasudeva and be blessed. Namaste.
Madhava Achyuta Krishna Hare Rishikesha Kesava Govinda Vasudeva Bhagavan Janardana